My name is Emma, and I never thought my marriage would almost be destroyed by the woman who called herself my second mother. When I married Ryan, I thought I was marrying into a family. I thought I would be loved, respected, and accepted. But I was wrong. Because from the very beginning, Ryan's mother, Patricia, never truly accepted me. In front of other people, Patricia acted sweet. She smiled at me, hugged me, called me daughter, and told relatives that she was happy Ryan had found someone. But behind closed doors, she was completely different. If I cooked dinner, she said it had no taste. If I dressed nicely, she said I was trying to impress other men. If I stayed quiet, she said I was rude. If I spoke, she said I had no manners. Nothing I did was ever enough for her. Ryan always told me, "Emma, don't take it personally. That's just how my mom is." So I tried to ignore it. I loved Ryan, and I didn't want to create problems in our marriage. I told myself that maybe Patricia just needed time to accept me. But I didn't know that Patricia's hatred for me was not only because I married her son. She was hiding something, and when her secret became dangerous, she decided to make me look guilty instead. Everything started changing when Ryan's close friend Ethan began visiting our house more often. Ethan had been Ryan's friend for years. They knew each other from before our marriage, and Ryan trusted him completely. Ethan was always invited to family dinners, birthday parties, weekend barbecues, and small gatherings. At first, I had no problem with him. He was polite to me. He acted normal around Ryan. He seemed like just another family friend. But slowly, I started noticing strange things. Whenever Ethan came over, Patricia changed. She became happier. She laughed louder. She fixed her hair. She adjusted her clothes. She suddenly acted younger and softer and more cheerful. At first, I thought I was imagining things. I felt guilty for even thinking something strange was happening between Patricia and Ethan. Patricia was my mother-in-law, and Ethan was my husband's friend. It felt wrong to even suspect anything. So I pushed the thought away, but the signs kept getting stronger. Patricia always found a reason to sit near Ethan. She laughed at jokes that were not funny. They had private little conversations that stopped the moment I came near. Sometimes Ethan would look nervous when I entered the room, and Patricia would suddenly become cold toward me, like I had interrupted something. One evening, I walked into the kitchen unexpectedly. I froze. Patricia and Ethan were standing too close to each other, not touching, but close enough that it made my stomach twist. The second they saw me, they moved apart. Patricia immediately smiled and said, "Oh, Emma, we were just talking." But Ethan couldn't even look me in the eye. He stared down at his phone like a guilty teenager. I didn't say anything. I just nodded and walked away. But something inside me changed that day, because if they were only talking, why did they look so scared? After that kitchen moment, Patricia became worse. Before, she only criticized small things about me. But now, she started attacking my character. She began telling Ryan that I was acting suspicious. She said I was always on my phone. She said I took too long when I went outside. She said I dressed too nicely for a married woman. Then one night, Ryan came into our bedroom with a serious face. He looked at me and said, "Emma, my mom thinks you have a boyfriend." For a second, I couldn't even speak. I just stared at him. Then I said, "What?" He repeated, "She thinks you're seeing someone." I felt like my heart dropped. I had never cheated on Ryan. I had never even given him a reason to doubt me. I said, "Ryan, your mother is lying." But he didn't look fully convinced. That hurt me more than anything, because Patricia had no proof, no messages, no photos, no names, nothing. But Ryan was still listening to her. After that, everything became different between us. Ryan started checking my phone. He asked where I was going. He asked who I was texting. If I smiled while reading a message, he became quiet. If I came home 10 minutes late from grocery shopping, he asked questions. I felt like I was living under investigation, and the worst part was that I had done nothing wrong. Patricia had planted doubt in my husband's mind, and Ryan allowed it to grow. Then came the family dinner that broke me. Patricia invited everyone over. Ryan's relatives were there, and Ethan was there too. I tried to stay calm and act normal, but during dinner, Patricia suddenly said, "These days, some wives are only loyal in front of their husbands." The whole table became quiet. I knew she was talking about me. I looked down at my plate and tried not to react, but Patricia didn't stop. She looked directly at Ryan and said, "A loyal wife doesn't hide her phone." Everyone stared at me. My face burned with shame. I looked at Ryan, waiting for him to defend me, but he said nothing. Nothing. That silence hurt more than Patricia's insult, because in that moment, I realized I was alone. My own husband was letting his mother humiliate me in front of everyone. I went to the bathroom and cried quietly, but while I was crying, something suddenly clicked in my mind. Patricia was trying too hard. She had no proof against me, but she was pushing this story again and again. She wanted everyone to look at me. She wanted everyone to, believe I was the problem. And then I remembered Ethan. I remembered the kitchen. I remembered how nervous he looked. I remembered how Patricia changed whenever he entered the house. And then I asked myself one question. What if Patricia was not accusing me because I was guilty? What if she was accusing me because she was hiding her own guilt? From that day, I stopped arguing. I stopped defending myself loudly. I stopped trying to convince Ryan with tears. Instead, I started watching, quietly, carefully. I watched Patricia. I watched Ethan. I watched the times he came to our house. I noticed that Ethan came over more often when Ryan was not home. I noticed that Patricia lied about where she was going. I noticed that she became nervous whenever I stayed home unexpectedly. Then one day, everything became clear. Ryan left for work early that morning. Patricia told me she was going to visit a neighbor, but something about her behavior felt strange. She kept checking the time. She looked nervous. And then, instead of leaving, she stayed in the house. A little later, I looked out from the upstairs window. I saw Ethan's car near the back side of our house, but he didn't come to the front door. He went around to the back door. My heart started beating so fast. I watched as Patricia opened the back door and let him inside. That was the moment I knew something was wrong. Because if Ethan was only visiting as Ryan's friend, why was he entering through the back door? Why not ring the bell? Why not come normally? I quietly went downstairs. I heard low voices coming from the guest room. I couldn't hear everything clearly, but I could hear Patricia and Ethan whispering. My hands were shaking, but I knew I needed proof. So I took out my phone and recorded the voices. I didn't open the door. I didn't confront them, because I knew they would deny everything. After almost an hour, Ethan left first. A few minutes later, Patricia came out fixing her scarf and looking around like she was afraid someone had seen her. I stood there, hidden from view, feeling sick. This was the same woman who had accused me of having a boyfriend. This was the same woman who had turned my husband against me. And all this time, she was secretly meeting his best friend. But I knew a recording alone might not be enough. Patricia was clever. She could say I misunderstood. She could say Ethan was helping her with something. She could twist the story again. Then I remembered the backyard security camera. Ryan had installed it months earlier for safety, but nobody really checked it. The camera faced the back entrance. So I opened the footage, and there it was. Ethan entering through the back door, Patricia letting him in. Not once, multiple times, different days, same pattern. Ryan was not home. Ethan came through the back. Patricia opened the door. They stayed inside. Then Ethan left quietly. I saved everything. The videos, the screenshots, the dates, the voice recording. For the first time in weeks, I didn't feel weak. I felt calm. Because now I had the truth. But I didn't confront Patricia immediately. I waited, because I knew people like Patricia expose themselves when they think they have already won. A few days later, Patricia invited the whole family for another dinner. Ethan was invited too. The moment I saw him there, I knew exactly what she was planning. She wanted to humiliate me again. She wanted to make Ryan doubt me even more. But this time, I was ready. Dinner started normally. Everyone was talking, laughing, pretending everything was fine. Patricia sat there looking confident, like she controlled the whole room. Ethan looked uncomfortable, but he stayed quiet. Then Patricia started. She sighed dramatically and said, "A mother always knows when something is wrong with her son's marriage." The table became quiet. Ryan looked tense. I stayed calm. Then Patricia looked at him and said, "Son, you need to open your eyes. Your wife is not loyal." Everyone turned toward me. Patricia continued, "I am only trying to protect this family." That was the moment I stood up, not crying, not shouting, just calm. I looked at Patricia and said, "You're right. This family does deserve the truth." Patricia looked confused. Ryan looked at me. Ethan's face changed immediately. I placed my phone on the table and played the recording. The room went silent. No one moved. Then I showed the security camera footage. Everyone watched Ethan entering through the back door. Everyone watched Patricia letting him in. Then I showed another clip, and another, and another. Different days, same back door, same secret meetings. Ryan stood up slowly. He looked at Ethan first. Then he looked at Patricia. His face was completely pale. He asked Ethan, "Is this true?" Ethan looked down. He didn't defend himself. He didn't say I was lying. He just stayed silent. And that silence said everything. Then Ryan turned to Patricia and asked, "You blamed Emma because of what you were doing?" Patricia immediately started crying. She said, No, you're misunderstanding everything." Then she said Ethan was only helping her with personal problems. Then she said I was trying to destroy the family. Then she said I had always hated her. I looked at her and said, "No, Patricia, you destroyed this family. I just stopped protecting your lie." The room was dead silent. Patricia screamed that I was disrespectful. She said I had no right to record her. She said I had embarrassed her in front of everyone. I looked at her and said, "You embarrassed me first. The difference is, I was innocent." Then I walked out. I didn't wait for permission. I didn't wait for anyone. To comfort me, I just left. For the first time, Ryan followed me. He came outside and kept saying, "Emma, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, I should have believed you." But something inside me had already changed. I looked at him and said, "The worst part is not only that your mother lied, the worst part is that you believed her so easily." He had no answer. I said, "You didn't need proof to doubt me, but now you need proof to believe me." Ryan started crying. He said he was ashamed. He said Patricia had manipulated him. He said he never should have checked my phone or stayed silent when she insulted me. But I told him the truth. I said, "Your mother may have started this, but you allowed it." After that night, Ethan disappeared from our lives. Ryan ended the friendship completely. Patricia tried calling me again and again. Sometimes she cried. Sometimes she blamed me. Sometimes she said I should have handled it privately, but I never answered, because I knew those calls were not apologies. They were attempts to control the story again. Ryan begged me to forgive him. He said he wanted to fix our marriage. I told him forgiveness was possible one day, but trust would not come back easily, because trust is not repaired by one apology. It is repaired by changed behavior. I told Ryan that if he wanted our marriage to survive, Patricia could never again have power over our relationship. No more secret accusations. No more disrespect. No more silence while I was being humiliated. He agreed, but I still needed time, because the truth had saved me, but it had also shown me something painful. Sometimes the person accusing you the loudest is not protecting the family. They are protecting their own secret. And the day I stopped defending myself with tears was the day the truth finally spoke for me.